Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to WCS North American Challenger.
Oh my
man.
God.
Can we just get a read?
Start it over.
Just roll. Okay, no. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to North American Challenger. We're here for our last series of the day as we jump into our last ZvZ. My name is Fear Dragon, and I'm joined by In Control to close things out. How's it going?
Good. Look at that. You get North American expert for yours, and I'm a former StarCraft and StarCraft 2 player.
Well, if it makes you feel better, at WCS Austin, I think everyone had like random things that were like, oh, you know, he's like former pro professional player, like, you know, highest esports earnings person. And mine was just StarCraft commentator.
Oh.
It was like, oh, we couldn't think of anything for this guy.
He is a commentator.
He technically is up here commentating. Yeah.
Can't take that away from now.
All right.
Well, I don't know. Mine might top yours because I'm just a StarCraft or StarCraft 2 player. And a former one at that. Former one. Which is my favorite part because I'm like, well, I play it a lot
I mean, you just got to show up for one of these Cheesadelphias, qualify for Challenger.
Then I'm a current player, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
There you go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our next match is going to be Antis versus Starkiller. We've talked a lot about this. You and Zombiger were talking about it.
Anticipating this for a while now.
It's going to be a killer StarCraft series.
That's not his name. You said you broke it into pieces. Anticipating is a play on.
Just as his opponent is about to try and do to him. Breaking into pieces, spawning up here in the top left, it is the red Zerg player, Antis.
That is Starkiller. Not Antis.
No, that's Antis. That's the reds. Oh, the overlay.
Yeah.
You know, we'll just show it again. Spawning down here in the bottom right, we have the blue Zerg player, Starkiller.
If you can just change the colors of a player, are they red or blue? Or
we don't,
because it's a fluid state, is it more just a perceptual thing where we just call them that because to us right now, that's what they are?
You know, StarCraft is such an awesome game that we don't really care about the color of a player. You can, as long as you play well.
It doesn't matter because you can just change it.
It doesn't.
If I could change you, Rubby, to orange or purple.
Would you?
No. I'd keep you just the way you are.
You know, if I could change you to green?
A brown sugar bear. Yeah?
I think I would.
Green me?
Green?
Be very
Give
tough.
you a cape, and then you'd actually be the number cruncher. Do you get that reference?
No.
It's like okay, so in the 90s there was a PC game that like all the schools would have you play, and like computer labs, and it was called Number Cruncher, and you'd like add up numbers and eat them.
Wow. Well, I don't like that reference.
Our producers played it.
I played Battle Chess in school. Do you remember that? Did you ever play Math Blaster?
Math Blaster?
That was sick.
You know, Math Blaster was also green. Also a mathematician.
I did not know that.
Green people, math.
What was the other school games that we all played?
Solitaire?
It wasn't. No. That's what our parents played, like on the Oregon Trail.
Oh, I played Mario Teaches Typing. Our producer's talking about that.
Mario?
Mario Teaches Typing, yeah.
Oh.
Great game. I played Mario Teaches Typing 2. I couldn't afford Mario Teaches Typing 1.
You couldn't afford the first one, but you could afford the second one?
Well, I saved up enough money. No, I saved up enough money. I recently learned how to type.
At age 19, you're like, you know what?
I still look at the keyboard until like a couple of months ago.
I'm tired of all these guys typing so much faster than me.
GLHF.
All right. Well, enough about our education. Let's get into this education.
Yep, Starkiller getting hyper aggressive. This is actually such a sick opening because it's a huge mind game. You go for the hatch, it makes it all look like you're playing super normal, and then you save a bunch of speedlings, speed finishes, and you just flood across the map. And Antis
was not anticipating this.
No, doesn't have any idea that this was coming, but
same fun. I do like the queens on the ramp though.
Yeah, and he can save a lot of these drones. He pulls them away. The Baneling Nest finishes up. He has a lot of his own lings finishing up as well.
Oh, but the drones. Careful, queens.
Whoa. Oh, that was actually was acting as almost like a sick bait. He gets a couple of the lings out and also pulls the lings away from the hatchery, buying a little bit more time. He's going to have some transfuse energy as well.
Why just the one Baneling, though? And then no transfuse.
Yeah, he had more gas. He had a second transfuse as well. No, I think he got the second transfuse after.
Okay.
He used one. This is
Well, I don't
You know, in this situation, I could see Starkiller just saying, you know, I have my own hatchery. I killed yours off. You don't have a hatchery. He just keeps checking back in. He's like, you know, I'm way ahead. He kind of underestimates the situation. But I guess the drones never get to transfer, though.
Yeah. I don't... You have to do something to get back into it. You lost the hatchery, so yeah, there's some coolness to it. And of course, we already saw the third base being taken there. So that's been done. You can't do that again, right? You gotta one up. The fourth base now. That's not even really the fourth base. Nobody takes that one. That is like the seventh base that you take. Grab it now.
Okay, well, Lings are going to be flooding across the map, and guess what? Starkiller wasn't really making more Lings, and his Lings are all on the other side of the map. He didn't realize Antis is going on the aggression. A Queen ends up dying, not actually going after any of those drones just yet, and the drones, well, they're doing a good job with the whole position micro to try and keep these Lings away from doing too much, and Baneling gets picked off as well.
It does. And not really finishing that many drones there. In fact, much low health. But
I really thought that was going to do more.
Yeah. I think he did too.
I'm also a little worried now because he just lost all of his Lings, and now he has to remake something. He has some Banelings. And a bit of a wall. Okay.
Is that a wall?
It's a bit of a wall.
It's like 2 planks of a fence that's meant to keep your whole yard. It is technically a wall by definition, strictly speaking, but it's, you know.
You know, it's a wall with a cannon called Banelings on the other side. So I feel like you're still kind of like, I don't really want to walk through that.
There's a lot of Banelings too.
Yeah. I think he's fine then.
I was like, whenever I off-race and I play Zerg in the ZvZ, I'm like, I'm pretty okay. And then they start, but the Baneling phase happens. I'm like, nope, I can never do this. And I never want to. Never figure this out.
Yeah, you used to play with Zerg and Brood War. Is that part of the reason why you didn't?
No.
No?
No, ZvZ and Brood War and StarCraft 2 are very, very different.
Oh, no, I meant when you saw StarCraft 2 ZvZ, you were like, I don't want that.
No, I picked Protoss like in the beta of the game, so it was well before seeing anything. But to your point, back then, ZvZ was just literally roaches and only roaches slamming into each other. It was way worse than it is now. Now it's pretty interesting and different.
Yep. All right, well, that hatchery is still just starting to get to mining pretty safely. I really wonder at what point does Antis start. Actually, I was thinking, when does Antis try and secure a third base, or a quote-unquote third base? Really, it'd be his fourth. But I guess with this kind of setup, you see the evolution chamber, you see the Roachhorn, you could very well, as Starkiller, look at this and say, yeah, you're just going for like a +1 roach speed attack.
Yeah, no, but also like you said, he did not know how much damage he did to him. I think that's kind of a hard thing to determine, because the attack was pretty cool. Drones were pulled a couple of times. He picks off the natural. So is it believable that he's about a hatchery build time behind? Yeah, absolutely. But as we can see, that's just not the case. And it's kind of funny because the drone count in favor of Antis right now, and as time goes on, this lead is going to compound. It's going to get worse and worse. And to your question, when's the third base timing? Well, it's about now.
Yeah, the really fun... Oh, man.
Well, the third base timing.
Man, Antis is... I have to really commend him on this. I feel like he's actually playing this really, really well. I think it's actually a lot harder than sometimes people give it credit for to try and make your opponent feel like you're reasonably behind, but not too far behind.
Right.
It's like a really difficult game to play.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to do that for my entire career. And it hasn't quite worked out yet. I've just mostly been behind. But even if this gets delayed, it's like, oh no, I mean, it won't. You gotta be careful about chasing Lings back. Yeah, exactly. You don't want him to go too far over there.
Oh man, he's actually sending some of those units over from the right-hand side, and they're actually gonna get scouted here. Is that gonna be enough of a tip-off?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
The Banelings are a little bit weird. I will give it that.
Okay, the roaches are here.
Now that would be, okay, the one roach, now you start to go, wait a second. Do I believe that you had 4 roaches and then the one over there?
I was sending an overlord in that direction. He's gonna start seeing the creep soon, but is it going to be too late at this point already? Antis has quite a few roaches, but he is getting chased down currently by Starkiller's roaches. I think that with the reinforcements, though, Antis should be able to hold here.
You commentating the CPG. I like it. It's bold, brave. I think the flank of roaches did a lot there. It's a strengthened concave, if you will. Truly not a concave, by the way, I know that.
And Starkiller sees that 4th base, and I wonder if he realizes that it was, in fact, the natural expansion and not even the 3rd or 4th base at this point.
Well, we're getting a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
Because the term natural expansion, you know, it'll take a minute.
Yeah.
I'll take a minute to educate you and our viewers. Natural refers to the base naturally given to your main starting location. So that is, of course, not the natural whatsoever. That is an unnatural.
Okay, I can
Can you dig it?
I
God dang it, I knew you were going to say that. We were in so much trouble moments ago, but that's going to be, I mean, he's got a 30 supply advantage. Starkiller's going to show up over here, and Antis might just take this lead. Nope, never mind, that's it. GG.
Antis walking away with game number 1 off of what looked to be not a great situation with that opening.
No, and you pointed this out, and I think it was a huge deal. Pulling the drones looks like a terrible call, but it bought a little bit of time. The hatchery did end up falling, but because there wasn't also 30 lings surviving after killing the hatch, it just felt like Antis was able to kind of have, he was behind, but he sold him on an idea, and it was because there wasn't too much of an army left over to get aggressive, I guess is the point I'm trying to make in a terrible way. But Antis, really, he only had that bad series so far against Neeb, and since then has looked amazing.
Yeah.
He's just smoked these games.
Looking really, really good. I'm really enjoying seeing Antis play so well.
Yeah.
And now we get to see him go into game number 2. He's on the verge of qualifying for those playoffs and doing a really great job so far. Starkiller, trying to get aggressive. He obviously tried to go for something very weird there, where he goes for the hatch first, he goes for the gas pool, and then doesn't actually drone up at all. He sticks around on like whatever 12, 13 drones and just says, I'm just going to flood lings and catch you by surprise. Kind of almost felt like it worked, but like that is also like a game that you can kind of push to the side and say like, okay, that was a weird thing. Starkiller has a lot of weird builds still left over. He's not out of the woods just yet.
I agree with you. I think one thing I would kind of add to that, though, is that it's not that weird what Starkiller did. That's actually a pretty common and I would say more old timing or all-in, if you will. But it's fun because Zerg players have evolved to a place where, you know, in the past, when those lings showed up, they're like, oh my god, pull all the drones. My 2 queens are not on a ramp. They're defending this hatchery because if I lose the hatchery, I lose the game. But Zerg players have gotten to this place where they're like, no, I'm a pretty durable race. Like, there's obviously a tipping point where I lose too much, but you can kill my hatch because of all that you've invested in getting that army out at that time. And as long as I don't lose too much else, I'm going to be up 6, 7, maybe more drones.
Yep.
I'm not out of the ballpark in terms of units because queens make up the difference so well, right? If you have your buildings blocking so much space, you can have 20 more lings, but my 3 queens can hold off all 20 of your lings. It's kind of fun to see where ZvZ has gotten at this stage, I guess.
Okay, Catalyst is going to be the next map. It looks like we're just trying to get colors set up because they really wanted to do red versus orange in a ZvZ. Now Antis wants to do red versus yellow.
Yeah. He's doing the whole Roy G. Biv
I can't tell.
Rainbow. He's sticking on yellow here, too. He's like, no, this is it.
Okay, I'm just going to let him know. Red.
It is his first challenger in his defense. And I don't think Antis has been in the open bracket of Austin or something, has he? Did he go?
I believe that Antis did actually play at Austin. He was beating, I'm trying to remember the exact names, but he was beating a lot of like the kind of mainstay mid-tier NA players at Austin. I think he eventually got knocked out by
like a Rotterdam, you think, or something like that? Or
yeah, you know. Is Rotterdam an NA player or is he an EU player?
If he was, he'd be a top-tier NA player, Fear Dragon.
That's true.
Our boy Kevin out there, I think he was...
I mean, he's already a pretty top-tier European player. He's beat some really good players. He beat Showtime, beat TLO.
Neeb.
Beat Neeb.
He's good, man. He's about 6K MMR. I mean, that's... I want him to... you know, we joke about this, but I'd love it if Kevin slide into one of the tournaments.
Didn't he give Blizzard a heart attack because he was hired to cast an event and they played in the qualifier and got to the qualifying match or something?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Kevin, you can't do this.
It was for Valencia.
Yeah.
He was in not the qualifying match. He just...
Or like maybe...
No, it was something else. I know what you're talking about. It was not a challenger qualifier, though.
Yeah.
Because he actually got smoked in that. He had to face a couple of guys. But before that, he like won a Go for SC2. Anyways, enough about Rotterdam. If you guys want to know more about him, DJ Khaled and him are doing a tour through the club scene, I believe. Talk about that later. But our players here, and possibly the final game of WCS NA Challenger Day 1, the lower right-hand side, from I don't know where, it's the Red Zerg Antis. What part of the country is he from?
I might be wrong, but for some reason in my memory it says New Jersey.
You know what? You might be right.
All right, Well, spawning up here in the top left-hand corner of the map, we have our blue Zerg player. He is Starkiller.
Where's he from?
East Coast.
Okay. Nailed it.
Actually, if you just say, for any NA player that's like notable, you say either Midwest or East Coast, you're like 95% right.
Maybe now. It used to be all about California. We had some good players over here.
California used to have good players, but West Coast just doesn't have many good players anymore.
Trying to think.
I actually struggle to think of anyone outside of like Silky or something.
Yeah. Now that you say that, kind of thinking that not really.
It's sad, man. I only notice it because all of the smaller NA lands, like the kind of grassroots ones, are all on the East Coast because of it.
Well, there you go. Could be the catalyst, but otherwise, getting into... Let's really dive into this and break it down for you guys. Production Tab shows just about the exact same opening, same number of workers.
You can see the income is roughly the same.
It's about 0 difference here.
Units tab, slight lead for Starkiller with a 1 drone. Actually, why does he have a 1 drone?
It's a 33%.
Why does he have a much? Yeah, why does he actually have a lot more workers? He's gonna have 24 workers at 20.
You say a lot, but it's.
That's early on. It's
the difference between a family of 5 and a family of like 4, 3 kids.
You don't think there's a big difference between a family of 5 and 3?
Well, the difference is the parents are stupid in most cases, and the other one, they're just not sensible.
Shots fired.
Yeah, for all our viewers that have 5 kids. I don't think so. I think I can safely make fun of that demographic and have no repercussions at all. So it's like, hey, my kids are right now running the farm so that I can watch this broadcast. Thank you very much. But we see Roach Warren and Evo Chamber for Starkiller. We see the Faster Third and the Baneling Nest for Antis. And that's kind of the typical fork in the road, if you will. One player is going to be like, I'm going to have the more aggressive expansion, which is going to make you want to do something about it. And the other guy is going to be able and have access to fast roaches that can come out and punish something like that. And the 2 players will do their death dance.
Yeah, and kind of the nice thing is for Starkiller, a lot of the time, or you'll see some of the time, the Zerg player that does go for the Roach Warren a lot faster will still sometimes have gotten up Zergling speed, so it does set them back a bit, but Starkiller was able to get away without it. And that is going to put him in a nice kind of spot where he has that extra gas saved up and get up a few more roaches earlier on.
And like our wonderful observer here, Ruby, just pointed out, no lair. And these are not defensive roaches coming out, by the way. You do not build 10 defensive roaches behind that kind of a wall in. This is going to be the roach version of the timing attack we just got done seeing, which is, surprise, you thought I was teching or something, but here's this. Now the problem with this is the longer the third base goes without being scouted, the options for which Antis needs to be worried get really pared down. Like it's either a wall of lings coming out of there, or it's roaches, and it's probably roaches because you can see the roach war. Now look at the larva for Antis. I think he knows. He's just sitting on this. There it is, 6 roaches, and off the 3 hatches, as long as he does nothing but smash that R key, he's going to be pretty okay for this part.
All right, third base is technically coming down over here, but now he's also going to see all of the roaches and think, oh, Lord. Well, thankfully, I'm already making roaches, so I'm not going to change any of my reaction. Maybe throw down an extra spine collar because he sees just the sheer number of them.
It's a lot.
Do you go as Starkiller for the third base, or do you just go and straight gun it for the natural?
Go for the natural, and I guess if there's like a huge investment in defenses, like 5 spines, then you go after the third. That's not what he's doing. And I think that might be because he's taking his own third, so his own idea is, I don't need to do that, but I stick by what I say. I personally think you show up with the natural because the ability for this just to show up and your opponent's like, whoa, I didn't even have a Roach Warren. I've got 30 lanes. And you just win the game with that number of roaches, by the way.
Yeah, and Starkiller doesn't exactly have a flood of roaches coming across the map that he's going to continue to reinforce with right now. He's building drones behind this, so spending that time to kill off the third, it is that guaranteed damage, but it also means this is less likely to get more damage done.
Yeah. Now, the good news for Starkiller is that even though, again, I do stand by my analysis, it's not the end of the world. He gets the third. He's got his own finishing, so that's going to be his leg up. Now, he can go ahead and predict that he won't have as fast of a lair, as we can see the lair for Antis is finishing up. No, never mind. Jeez Louise, I was wrong on that too. the layer's already done for Starkiller, so he's fine.
Yeah.
He's got the faster now. Well, he's got the existing third, is I guess what we say. And everything else is about the same, if not better, for Starkiller.
Yeah, aggression has definitely worked out for Starkiller in this situation. Now, we do still have a position where Antis is going to be reestablishing that third base. The drone counts are not that different, although I guess Starkiller just recently got out a big round of drones, so he's finally taken a bit of that lead. I really want to see, what does Starkiller go for at this point? Is he just going to go and mass up a lot more roaches? Because he's still at 28 roaches to 19. He could theoretically still find an opportunity to move across the map and get something done.
Yep, and I feel like in ZvZ that's kind of always the fear. And you can see an Overseer actually for Antis making its way into the main base to inform itself on exactly what you're just now talking about. Is there Spires? Is there a Hydra Den? Are you going for a fast Lurker tech? Or is all I have to worry about that you are going to make more roaches? And if that is all I have to worry about, then I have to keep in mind your army count. Didn't make it to the third to see saturation there.
I was going to say, I think that would have been maybe a big tip-off for him. Like, hey, you seem really well saturated over at that third base. Maybe I do want to go for a big attack, because it's not even just more roaches that he... I guess actually, Starkiller did catch up on the roach count, because there's been an investment into some of the Ravagers. Yeah, I don't really know that he can make the attack happen anymore, but he might be on the defensive instead.
Well, Starkiller's up in army supply, and 6 drones are being pumped out for Antis at pretty much the wrong time. So it's going to come down to, do the Ravagers of Antis do more work than the Ravagers of Starkiller? Because they are behind in army right now. And here we go. Starkiller's going to pounce on top of this. He's got a decent concave, but of course he's fighting in the fortified position of Antis. Corrosive Vials not really being dodged here, and I feel like that's one of the big tipping points, is if you ever see something like that where the back lines gets just barraged, then Starkiller is going to go ahead and push forward here. And with a 93 army to 47, I like his chances for closing this out.
Yeah, he's doing a great job so far, and very soon he's going to be on top of those Ravagers as the roaches have all been taken out. Corrosive Vials being dodged there at the last moment for Starkiller, and that is going to be him doubling the supply of his opponent. He's not going down without a fight. He may have been down 0-1. Now he's going to be tying it up 1-1.
I was waiting for some wordplay there, so I was like, where's it coming from? And they were like, but now it's 1-1. And I was like, nope, going with the straight fact-telling here. I like it. But you know what? It's been the Antis show this entire time. He's just, when he's won pretty hard. Yeah. All of a sudden, though, Starkiller showing us some life with some good decision-making there and able to tie it up. And now, after all that momentum and all that talk about Antis, maybe Royal Roading's a bit hyperbolic for the first group. But his first showing into Challenger and then making out would be a big story. He still has that possibility, but Starkiller making it complicated.
Definitely making it a bit complicated. And again, it's all in the very Starkiller fashion. In the first game, he goes for the early pool opening. In the second game, he's going for that big roach bust with no lair tech. I mean, there you definitely see the trend here, but it is about the fact, like, it's actually, it reminds me of kind of how No Regret still was able to win games and qualify for Code S. It's like, even when you know he's going to all-in you, there are just so many different ways the attacks can come. And if you cut corners, or if you cut your economy too early on and play too safe, then the attack that's coming 2 minutes later will suddenly catch you by surprise, and that's when you actually end up running into trouble.
Yeah, it's always been a funny thing in StarCraft in general, right? Like, you look at a player like a No Regret, and it's not like if he doesn't win with Cheese, he can't win at all. He's still a good player. It's just that he's willing to go that low with Cheese, and then that makes him kind of crazy to deal with. But also in StarCraft, I think there's always just been this mentality thing of, like, there's just a certain way to do things. And the people that break those conventions, break those rules, they have more practice doing that. So Starkiller had some really brilliant follow-up to the timing attack. I mean, the timing attack was good, but you could even hear, I mean, and maybe I was just flat out wrong. I'm like, here's what I think you should do. Starkiller's probably been in that position hundreds of more times, and I've seen it. And he'd made the right choices, and it led to a win. So it's fun. They're playing their own game, but it makes it hard on their opponents.
All right, Dreamcatcher for game number 3. Once again, map we've seen quite a bit today, but especially in those ZvZs. And, you know, I'd say like maybe 3 or 4 out of the 5 times we've seen it today leads into some sort of all-in. There's only one time hasn't been some sort of early pool. Just saying, the numbers.
Yeah. Been a lot of cheesy ZvZs, very decisive, very quick. The lobby is made, the players are here and ready, and we will be heading into Dreamcatcher, like Ravi said. Otherwise, I mean, other than it's just had some cheese on it. I don't think it's a cheesy map per se,
No,
right?
I
Like,
don't
we're not
think
seeing
so.
gold first or something crazy like that. It's just that it's a medium-sized map with pretty straightforward pathing, and you're not too worried about getting through the rocks in the early game, I guess.
I think to me, it's like the third base on this map is what makes it feel a little bit weirder and why we might see a little bit more staying power on just those 2 bases. Because once you get that third, it feels like a little bit further out.
Yeah.
And then after that, there's the multiple different ways you have to worry about lings or roaches and everything running in. So at least that's the way I look at it, at least.
Yeah, you've got me sold on. I can see it. Now look at that production tab.
All right. We are going to be starting down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, top of the red Zerg player. He is Antis. I think his Twitter handle is @RebornAntis. If you guys want to check him out.
And if you don't, that's okay too.
Is it though?
Yeah, the Twitters are pretty boring. I'm just
That's
kidding,
actually probably. I actually don't know that he's tweeted in like the last year.
No, but this North American scene, the young guys are really fun. They actually kind of give each other a bunch of crap and stuff.
Speaking of which, this guy up in the top left-hand corner of the map had a fun tweet recently. It's the Blue Zerg player. It's starkiller. Early pool.
What was his fun tweet?
His fun tweet was his prediction. He was saying he thought he was just going to get first in his group. He thought he was going to beat Neve. And actually, no, he thought that everyone was so scared of him they were going to no-show.
Oh, okay. So there's the joke.
Yeah.
Well, hey, if this early pool works out. And that is a hatch followed by a couple of drones, then the gas, then the pool.
Yep, getting up to 18 drones before the gas.
Yikes.
So this can, as you know, Jeff, when you don't get the gas, guys, it's not super committed from the Zerg player to try and end the game by any means. And you get up that hatchery, you try and get some damage done. Are you looking for just drone kills? Are you looking for a hatch kill? Like, what are you looking for with just the no gas?
Well, he's building 4 more lings behind this as well. It's pretty leveraged.
Oh wow, this is actually way more of a commitment than I'm used to seeing.
I would have, you know what Lambo was doing for a while? It was pulling drones with this, like 3 of them, and making the spine crawlers. I loved that all in.
Yeah.
Not quite sure why it went away.
Okay, well, drones being... okay, a lot of drones already
I was going to say good
lives.
micro, but then it just like absolutely wasn't, right? Like
It was good micro until it wasn't.
He pulled the first drone back, and I was like, wow, he's going to do it. And then the rest is like, nah, you're on your own.
He also pulled his workers before the lings arrived, so that meant he actually probably lost out on an extra 100, 150 minerals worth of mining. So that's less lings he could actually even afford, or he can't even afford the queen at the natural. I think that's actually where those minerals kind of are lost now. He doesn't have that extra queen at the natural.
He has infinitely faster speed, but again, that can get kind of negated when you get queens clogged up back at home, and that's only if we get back at home.
Okay, some lings do pop out of that natural hatchery and actually do manage to get surrounded. Wow! I think he's actually starting to make this defense work, and with ling speed, like you said, coming up, this is not that bad of a spot for Antis.
It's interesting. So he's making more lings. Speed is going to finish. It's a heck of a lot more drones for Starkiller, which in a ZvZ can be good, or it can be the reason he's about to lose. It's going to come down to the queens as far as I'm concerned. He only has the one, and he's not making another at the natural. I am beginning to get a bit worried for him.
Ooh, and I love that Antis is just hiding his lings as best he can. He has his queen situated at the front of his ramp to try and knock out any overlords nearby.
No, okay, this tips over into bad news bears for Starkiller. No Baneling Nest, only one additional queen. I mean, so here's what he's going to have to do. He's going to have to evacuate the natural. There's so many drones coming out.
He has 4 larvae. Is he going to...
Oh, he's going to try to wall in.
He knows about it now. Well, unfortunately...
That's not it.
That wall is not completed enough to really... Oh my god, the queen is out of position. He tried to build the evolution chamber instead, but the leaks just run in.
Well,
oh, this could not have gone worse.
It's a movie about a vampire called Let the Right One In or whatever, and that was not it.
Man, I really have to commend Antis, though. That hold, I really was not a believer in it, but he made it work toward the end of it.
Well, when your opponent opens the door for you.
Well, I don't mean the counter all-in, but like the defense. GG.
That's like it's like a Monty Python scene where they're like, open the gate! And they're like, yeah, okay, open the gate. And they just come in. Well done by Antis. He does show up for his first WCS Challenger group, and he comes out in second place. He had a rough series against Neeb, but after that, he looked good. Tripping up a little bit against Starkiller, but making it work.
Very exciting. A player that only got into the competitive circuit in 2018, in this year, is now making his way to the playoffs, besting some of the kind of mainstay players that have been around in the NA scene for a while, like Silky, and even beating some of the other up-and-comers like Starkiller. Really, really awesome performance. And I love that he also had the kind of like well-rounded play. We saw some cheeky little mind games from him earlier on in the day.
Sure.
We saw some macro games. We saw him holding off a lot of the all-ins. Really kind of proved himself in a lot of ways in at least the ZvZ matchup.
Well, to come up in that, yeah, I mean, no, to your point, you're absolutely right. And in order to play these groups and to make success, you cannot really be a one-dimensional player. I mean, I guess you can, but it's just a lot less likely that you'll succeed. So I agree with you. It's good to see the well-roundedness here. And best of luck in the future to, of course, Silky, who, you know, just last challenger we were really excited about, and Starkiller also in his third WCS group. So he's becoming a little bit more consistent, which is, again, what that WCS system's trying to produce. Hopefully we'll see some of these guys at that Montreal bracket, but otherwise that's it for them in WCS.
All right. Well, of course, let's go ahead and recap some of the day that we had here today, as we saw a bit of the European Challenger. We see a little bit of that North American Challenger, but of course there are also some other great events coming on up in the scene. If you guys
What's your favorite, Ravi?
What's my favorite event?
Yeah, which one of those is your favorite?
My favorite event is this event because I get to commentate with my good buddy Jeff.
Yeah, it should be your favorite.
And Zombie Grub's here too, so.
She's here as well.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool StarCraft going on. Montreal, like you said, coming on up. Copa America, GSL. Be sure to check it out. Super tournament as well.
Fun stuff.
But yeah, just to like talk about the day, we ended up seeing, what was it? It was going to be a Laser coming out in first place from the European group, and then Namshar coming out in second place. Whereas the NA group, we of course had good old Neeb coming out in first place, and now Antis coming out in second place.
Yep.
Looking solid.
I think that European group, we were destined to get some of the regulars out there. We were very much so anticipating, I mean, I guess Namshar is the one that it's interesting to see if he's able to continue it on, and he was. Otherwise, a Laser losing here would have been a huge shocker, but not the case. And Neeb showed up and got work done too. So a good day at the office. We don't have tomorrow's bracket ready to go, do we, production?
I mean, I can tell you the NA players.
We don't. You can't tell us the European one?
Actually, no, I think I can. So there's Cyril, first of all, the winner of last season of Challenger.
The winner of everything.
We have Harstum. I remember Harstum is also playing.
Yeah.
And
Denver.
Euthermal is going to be playing, and Denver. Yeah, that's the European group. The North American group, I believe, was Scarlet, Puck, Scarlet, Puck, Future, and Cuddle Bear.
This is why. This is why we got him here. A lot of people talk about Rotterdam and his elephant memory. Let me show you Fear Dragon. Right?
I think the difference is when Rotterdam remembers something, he just says it. When I remember, I'm like, it was.
Give it time. You'll get there. You'll get there.
Yeah, one day.
A lot of people say you're the upcoming Rotterdam. With like half the MMR.
Do they though? Hey, I got Masters right before I came here.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's very good.
I can't wait for people to say how my game knowledge has increased when I've literally only cannon rushed every single game.
In your passion.
Yeah. They're like, wow, you know, Fear Dragon's analysis is really way more on point since he got Masters League. It's like, thanks, guys. My Immortal all-ins have really been working out well. I'm learning a lot about the game.
Very good. Well, I mean, you're playing Protoss. That's how we do it.
Yeah, and then they go.
Close us out, Fear Dragon. What's our final word on the day?
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please be sure to tune in for more WCS Challenger action. Tomorrow, we got another Group B for Europe as well as North America. And, of course, we're going to be back after that the following week with Group C and D. So don't go anywhere.
That was the best ending ever.
That was the best ending I could have managed.
Fade to black.
Just exit. Just exit.